Hey, everybody, welcome to LettermenRow.com. I am Jeremy Birmingham. This is Birminology. We are, as usual, whipping around the country talking to Ohio State recruiting targets, commits, prospects that you should know, and more. Today, we are going to head down to Louisiana, Baton Rouge to be precise, and talk to Jaiden Ausberry, a five-star linebacker in the class of 2023, who has visited Ohio State twice in the last 6 months and has become a pretty hot target for the Buckeyes and linebackers coach Al Washington. So enough of my blabbering. Let's get to Jaiden Ausberry. As promised, Jaiden Ausberry is with us. 6'2", 205 pounds is what you're listed at on your profiles, Jaiden. None of that stuff matters. You're a football player, and that's why teams across the country are recruiting you. How's your season been? Your junior year down there at University Lab in Baton Rouge.
It's been real good. We're 10-0 right now. We got a first round bye in the playoffs. We play daily side Friday. So, I think our team's been doing a real good job.
It's one of the interesting things to me, Jaiden. Kids like yourself who come from winning programs, it is not a surprise that most of the time when it comes to college, you guys are looking at winning programs. What does it take for a program that maybe is on the periphery, a team that's just on the borderline of being successful, or Ohio State, Georgia's, Alabama's, LSU's, those types of teams? What about the team right below them? What do those type of programs need to show players like yourself that you should look at them?
I think they really just need leadership and accountability. I think that's really where a good team starts. If you don't have those type of players on your team, then you're really not headed in the right direction. So I really think it all starts right there.
For you in your recruitment, it's been going on for a while. I mean, this last year's been pretty busy for you. LSU offered you back in January. I think your first offer was from Ole Miss about a year ago. Sorry, go ahead. Mississippi State.
Yeah.
I get my Mississippis crossed up. Since then, Ohio State, as I said, Georgia, LSU, Alabama. We're talking the best of the best programs in the country. How have these last 6 months helped you as you've started to really explore what's important to you?
It's really been good going to these campuses, seeing about the football, academics, all type of stuff, really just seeing what's the best fit for me. I really enjoyed the process, and, it's been a real fun ride.
Is there a difference between enjoying the process and enjoying recruiting? Because I think that for some kids, the recruiting itself can be a little over the top and overbearing, but getting the chance to meet coaches and see all these different schools is different, right?
Right. Yeah. Enjoying the process is different because some people just like the recruiting and stuff. They don't really get to the good relationship with the coaches and stuff. But the process is get to know all the coaches, stuff like that. Talking to all the people who work in the football department. So I really been enjoying that.
We met each other first time back in March, and first time I wrote about you, I'd seen you at a 7-on-7 camp in New Orleans. And I wrote at the time that Ohio State never recruited Louisiana, but they should because of players like you and Shelton Sampson down there. And then lo and behold, a couple months later, you're visiting Ohio State's campus, and the Buckeyes are recruiting you very hard. What's made that relationship with Ohio State, and specifically with Al Washington, what's made it different or good to the point where they're actually one of those schools that you're seriously considering?
Yeah, it's actually real. You need to be getting recruited, from a Big Ten school, especially when you're from Louisiana. It really never happens. But, getting to know him, Coach Day, it's like a real cool experience, especially because Ohio State's like a dynasty, so it's real unique.
And the reason Ohio State doesn't recruit in your area and Big Ten schools don't recruit in your area, Jaiden, is because simply put, most of the time, the players like yourself don't leave the South, right? How hard has it been for you to truly consider leaving the South for college? And is that something that, as you've experienced things in the last 6 months, that you feel yourself maybe more interested in doing than you had before?
Yeah, it's actually never been a problem to me to go West Coast, North, South, wherever, wherever I think the best fit for me, that's where I'm going to go regardless of anything. So, I never really let that get in the way or affect me in my recruiting process.
Clearly there is a push in Baton Rouge for kids to stay home and go to LSU. Your father played at LSU, I believe, correct?
Yes, sir, he did.
I know he's not pushing for you to stay home and pick the Tigers, but how much does that play into your decision when you start to think about, hey, maybe I could go somewhere else, or hey, maybe I have an obligation to stay home and play for these people?
It really doesn't bother me that much, because I know what's best for me. A lot of people in Louisiana would want me to come here, but at the end of the day, I'm just do what's best for me and my family.
As the last couple months, you've been to Ohio State twice. You did camp with Al Washington and the Buckeyes in June. You were there the same day I think Troy Bowles was, and a couple other big time linebacker types. Or I'm sorry, Tamir Robinson and Carson Tabaracci from Utah. Troy was there a couple days before you, I think. And then you got back for the Penn State game on October 30th, that big weekend. What did you see at Ohio State in the game day experience that maybe was unexpected or surprising for you?
The pep rally, that's really cool because I don't think they really do that anywhere else. I've never really seen anything like it where the team goes in. I think it's their old gym that they used to play in like a long time ago. Some of the players talk, some of the coaches talk, the band play. So, I think it's just a really good tradition and it was real cool getting to see all that.
You've been to big stadiums. That's one of the things with you, with the kids like yourself who are top 40, top 50 players across the country. You've seen a lot of big environments and big time programs. When you walk into a place like Ohio Stadium, does it still feel different, even though you've been to a lot of big places?
Yeah, it feels different because it's Ohio State. It's 101. It's just different up there, and especially it's a Big Ten school, so it's kind of like a different vibe from the SEC. But it's not bad. It's just different, and it's just a real good experience.
One of the things that is most important when you make those campus visits, especially for big games like that, Jaiden, is the chance to hang out and talk to other recruits who are considering the same schools you're considering. That weekend was a huge one for Ohio State. Sonny Styles was there. Carnell Tate was there. You were there. Troy Bowles was there. A lot of guys that you've gotten to know over the last few months and that you're talking to about, hey, maybe we want to play together at the next level. How important are those relationships as you start to think about where you want to end up?
That's real important because, that could be my future teammates. And, that really plays a big part in, your team, getting to know the players that you're going to be with in the future, maybe. So, getting to see them on recruiting trips is like a real good thing. And I think it's real, like, good for a recruiting process.
We were going to have you on the show last week, but then I was told that Sonny was going to be making his decision. And I wanted to wait to have another one of you guys, another linebacker, 5-star athlete in your class on and after he made his decision, because I wanted to see how that sort of early decision from a kid like Sonny Styles, who is obviously a top 10 player in the country, blah, blah, blah. Like, does that impact you guys as you start to think about, okay, I want to play with a guy like this, or this guy could play a similar position? Like, is it a bigger pro or a bigger con for schools as these classes start to fill up?
It's really not a pro or con to me. I'm gonna go wherever I think is the best for me, regardless. It's real cool seeing people commit in my class, especially at my position, early like that. I actually talked to Sonny today and he was like, come join the brotherhood. And I was like, yeah, that's good.
It's fascinating because you and Sonny, if you guys stand right next to each other, he's almost, I think, 2.5, 3 inches taller than you. You guys don't look like you'd play the same position, but if you look at the national rankings, you do. If you look at projections at Ohio State in the bullet position and the linebacker room, you might play the same position. Do you care about that? I mean, you're a linebacker. Multiple guys are going to be on the field at the same time, but is that something you have to weigh into your decision at all?
No. If somebody's better than me, you just gotta take it. But I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna fight for my spot. Regardless, I'm not gonna let like anybody stop me from going where I want to go.
What is it that you're looking for, Jaiden, as you start to really go into these next few months, heading probably towards official visits in the spring? What is it that you think are going to be the most important pieces of this puzzle for you?
It's really just relationship with the coaches. That's where I really think that's like where it starts. Because you don't have a relationship with your coach, especially your position coach, then there's really no chemistry right there for you to work out. So I think that's the real most important thing going forward in my recruiting process.
I'm curious from a guy have you watched Ohio State play this year?
Yeah, I went to the Penn State game. I watched them play Purdue yesterday. I think they've been playing really well too. So yeah.
As you watch the linebackers, I assume you watched the Ohio State Oregon game early in the season, and you start to see. I would imagine that if I was on the outside looking in, I'd say, "Oh man, I got some question marks here. What's going on?" How has that changed in the last 8 weeks?
I think ever since that game happened, it looked like things were falling apart on the outside, but once I got to go to the game, really be a part of what was going on, it's really starting to come together. Coach White, he said like one of the linebackers it was like his third month playing because he was playing running back, and now he's like starting. So I think that's a real big step in what they're doing, and he's playing really well right now too. So
Yeah, I mean, with Coach Washington, I'm if I'm wrong, if I'm putting words in your mouth, tell me. But it seems like early on in the process, the relationship you have with Al Washington is one of your better ones. What is it about him that you guys connect so well?
He always checks us on a daily basis. He always asks about my mom, dad, brother. He even asks about my pet dog, which it's just a real close relationship that we have. And we're not always talking about just football. We talk about school, talk about life, talk about what we like to do, all that type of stuff. So, we just chop it up about anything. That's a really good relationship that you can have with a coach.
What's your dog's name?
Saint.
Saint. Okay. So now let's talk. You mentioned your brother. Brother Austin is a class of 2022 cornerback prospect. Obviously, people always expect brothers are going to try to play at the same school. Now that we're talking about Sonny Styles, his brother is a 2021 prospect. Who everyone thought Sonny would end up maybe at Notre Dame because his brother was there. How close have you and Austin been in this process? And has it been something where it's just good for you to learn from him? Or is this something where you guys know you want to play at the same school?
We really haven't talked about it, but we're really getting recruited by, other than Ohio State and a few others, we're really getting recruited by the same school. It's really hard, but we're each going to go where we think is best for both of us. So he wants to go somewhere, then he's going to go there. But we never really talked about going to the same school. But if it happens, then it happens. So
he's really high on Michigan, from what I understand. And I know you visited Michigan, but again, if I'm wrong, you can tell me I'm wrong, but it maybe seems like you have a better relationship with Ohio State right now than you do with Michigan. Is there a thought you guys could end up playing in that game against each other down the road? Is that in your mind?
I thought about it a few times, but that would be kind of cool. But I guess we'll just have to wait and find out.
When do you want to make a decision, Jaiden? What do you want? What has to happen before you feel comfortable enough to say, "Hey, I'm ready to make a commitment somewhere"?
I probably want to visit the place where I'm gonna commit probably like 3-4 times. And I really want to make my decision next summer around June or July, but I'm gonna just wait until it feels right. Because I don't want to rush anything. I just want to wait until it feels right in my heart.
Absolutely. And as Buckeyes fans watch this and listen to this, you visited Ohio State twice. If the goal is 3 to 4, when's the next trip that you're trying to make to Columbus?
I was trying to make it up for the Michigan State game, but I probably can't because I got the playoffs going on down here. But I'll try to make it back up there pretty soon.
Well, I know that Ohio State coaches, from what I hear and talking to them, they're big fans of the way you play. It seems like that relationship is building quite well. So hopefully we get a chance to see you back on campus in Columbus in the near future. I know Sonny Styles and Josh Padilla and Ty Lockwood are going to be working their magic to try to bring you into that class as well. So thank you for taking time to join us, man. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That's Jaiden Ausberry, Ohio State target in the class of 2023 and a 5-star linebacker prospect from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm Jeremy Birmingham. This has been Birminology. Thanks for watching.